Hey guys, it's Spiritual Muse here again. I am here to talk to you about the total lunar eclipse on July 27th. It is a blood moon lunar eclipse. It's also the longest lunar eclipse of the century. So it's about an hour and 20 minutes long, and the moon is going to look red up in the sky because of the reflection of Earth's atmosphere. So pretty cool. So definitely check out the moon. It's going to be a total eclipse. So we're going to actually see the moon go from full to looking like a new moon for a total 20 minutes. This is my cat Marceline. She's pretty pumped about the moon too. So basically, I just had to throw a pen for her because she likes pens. So basically what we're dealing with this moon is a full moon in Aquarius, which eclipses. And we also have a major aspect going on, which is Mars. So we have a red moon and we have a red planet also as kind of the most important thing going on in the sky right now. So really interesting stuff happening. I'm just going to jump right in. So our moon is at 4 degrees and 45 minutes of Aquarius, which is a water sign, and it's opposite the sun in Leo. So an Aquarius full moon is a good time to do dream work and possibly water bowl scrying. So kind of looking into a bowl of water as if it's a crystal ball and looking to see a vision of your future. That's a beautiful thing to do on the full moon this month. Maybe right at the eclipse time. That'd be pretty cool. Right before and right after. Seeing if anything changes. And then it's also a good time to start a dream journal or do dream work. So don't know if I mentioned, but it's at 4/21/19 on the East Coast. I'm here in New York, so I always do East Coast time. And you can just do a quick Google and figure out when the moon is full where you are. And what else do we have going on? All right, so I mentioned that Mars is a big aspect during this moon. We have a bunch of planets. I believe it's 5 or 6 planets in retrograde. One of them is Mars. We have Mars conjunct the moon, which is going to bring about some sexiness. It's going to bring about bravery. It's going to make it difficult to control our emotions because Mars is the sign of, or the planet of war, basically. It's going to be difficult to control our emotions, but it's a good time to try and relax. Now, however, because Mars is in retrograde, it makes it easier to do inner reflection, to find new objectives, and to see our own behaviors more clearly. So, while we will have this influence of Mars that makes us, feel sometimes angry, quick to fight, sort of like we want to champion, our rights or our ideas and things like that, things that are important to us, we're going to be able to also kind of reverse it, go retrograde, and look inward and see why we are brought to anger that way. Because anger can be, a very powerful tool, and if we use it properly, we can use it in the correct way. We can use it as a fuel or like a superpower instead of just automatically reacting in a very fiery Mars kind of way and just creating situations in your life that you wish you hadn't. So this Mars retrograde can actually be really positive for us to notice behaviors within ourselves and maybe patterns, and then we can move beyond that and get into a new ground of things and to learn how to be using our anger in a more positive way. Believe it or not, it's possible to use our anger to do good things. So if you get fired up about like some kind of cause, maybe an environmental cause or a political cause or whatever it may be, maybe it's both at once, that is a good thing to go after and use your anger for, but don't do it in a way that is detrimental to anyone and, at the same time respecting other people's beliefs. But, fighting for what you believe in is a beautiful thing as long as you do it in a mindful way without snapping. Do it in a mindful, thoughtful way, and that's a great thing that you can work with this lunar eclipse full moon in Aquarius with our Mars retrograde hanging around. We also have the moon square Uranus, which can bring about mood swings, impulsive reactions. It's going to make us want to avoid changes, and it's going to make us, specifically in terms of changes, relationships. Because we have these mood swings and impulsive reactions, make sure that you don't upset the balance of a relationship that otherwise is going really well. Because that's very possible during this crazy lunar eclipse. So being aware of your mood swings, your impulsive reactions, again, you can use the Mars retrograde to like look within yourself, go with that energy, the inward energy, rather than the outward explosive energy. And that'll help with this Uranus square, which is another somewhat difficult aspect that we're dealing with. It's going to make you want to rebel and speak out, and you want to do these things in a safe environment. It's good to express yourself, but do it in a safe way that you feel comfortable. And then we also have the moon sextile Saturn, and Saturn is also trine to Uranus. So this brings about a nice positive aspect to our full moon lunar eclipse. It brings an idea of protectiveness towards our family and our partner and people that, we're close to, because partners don't have to just be romantic partners. Each person that we communicate with in life, each relationship we have, that is a partner, even within a bigger group of people. So it can be a time where, we want to impulsively react against a family member or another loved one, but because of Uranus or Mars, but then we are able to actually have a flip side where we feel protective of them and our relationship, so we don't want to harm it. So we will either find a way to express it in a way that is healthy for both parties, or we will, let it go. Which sometimes, it might be hard to do, but sometimes letting it go is the best way. Maybe journal about it, maybe think about it a little bit before you say anything. So always taking time in general is a good idea before you burst out with an emotional reaction. So Saturn is going to help us to moderate our emotions. This can be a crazy emotional time, so look to Saturn for help there. It can also bring patience, which is really important too when we're feeling a little loony. And it can also help stop rash actions. So we have some helpful aspects here. We have a lot of interesting aspects that kind of balance each other out in a way that could be really interesting. So it kind of depends on whether or not you're being mindful of things, because you could just say, oh, the moon is full and it's a lunar eclipse, so I'm just going to let myself do whatever, and I'm not going to, accept the consequences of my actions or my words. Or you could say, I was aware that there was a full moon and that there's crazy energy, or that, like, in general, I'm just aware of my emotions and where I'm at, and I am conscious of myself, and I'm mindful of the way that I'm acting and the way that I am behaving around others, or that I am behaving towards myself. Being kind to yourself is really important too, and your relationship with yourself is another important relationship in your life. And Saturn is trine to Uranus, which can bring about a big transition. So this lunar eclipses are always good times for transitions. They usually mark a big change. But because we also have Saturn trine Uranus, that represents transition, and it can help you to stay calm during the transition. So really tapping into the Saturn energy can help you to stay calm, cool, and collected. It might even be a time when you feel or you are asked to take on more responsibility. So if you are to take on more responsibility, keep in mind that we do have some planets in retrograde right now. And just to do, a little segue, I will talk a little bit about our Mercury retrograde that's happening. Actually, today I'm filming the video on July 25th, and Mercury went retrograde today. So let me go into Mercury retrograde a little bit. So the sun is in Leo, as I mentioned. So Mercury went retrograde today into Leo, and it continues to be in retrograde until August 18th. So this is a good amount of time. Every time Mercury retrograde happens, it takes a couple of weeks for it to work its way out. Now, you know, it's always funny to blame things in our lives. Well, Mercury must be in retrograde because everything's crazy. But the thing is, you have to take responsibility for the way that you're reacting to the energies in our environment. And Mercury retrograde can be a really positive energy to work with if you know how to work with it. So in general, Mercury retrograde is a time when it's good to finish projects that you started and didn't complete. It's not as good of a time to pick up new projects. So you want to be mindful of that if you are taking on any added responsibility, that maybe look for things that have already been something you've been wanting to do, that maybe you've already been manifesting for a long time, and not something that just popped into your head during Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is the ruler of communication and thoughts in general. It's the ruler of the sign Gemini, and I'm a Gemini, and I can tell you that Geminis and Mercury ruled people have a million thoughts in their heads at all times, and they all sound like $1 million ideas, but you can't reach on and grab onto every one of them, or you will be tearing yourself in like a million different directions, and none of them will ever come to fruition. So if it's something you've been working on for a long time and manifesting, absolutely go for it on this eclipse. But I wouldn't recommend taking on any brand new crazy ideas. If you get new ideas, definitely write them down, think on them, and set them aside until a time when it's better, or you feel more comfortable, or you've taken a lot of time to manifest it into reality and set things into motion. So to get back into what the Mercury in retrograde this time is really about, because this Mercury retrograde is in Leo, it's about looking back over things that we have missed and things that may come up. So old patterns. It's also old patterns. We mentioned that as well during the Mars retrograde. We're looking back at our own behaviors and seeing how they affect our relationships and our life in general. So this Mercury retrograde also helps us to look back at our old patterns. We don't want to relive things unless they're helpful for us to move past them. So we want to let go. The full moon is also a great time for letting go, and what more powerful time could there be than a full lunar eclipse? It's really a beautiful time for transition. We can close a lot of doors and we can open a lot of new ones. So it's also a good time to delve deep into our soul. Again, Mars is also in retrograde, which can make us feel a little bit scattered unless we're tapping into that real inner reflection. So if we're running around being crazy and busy, we can feel scattered. But if we take time to sit down and slow down, we can get into a much more comfortable place where we feel more able to reflect on our lives. So meditation is a great idea. I mentioned that a few times in my notes. So definitely take some time to meditate if you can. In general, Leo is about finding independence and holding your own power. It's a strong, beautiful lion. It's all about power. It's totally majestic and beautiful. So recognizing those qualities within yourself. Let the right action arise. So you want to take time to let the right action arise instead of just reacting. This is a theme that I mentioned a few times. Things just kind of come together like that. You want to find inner peace. I've mentioned that a few times too. And don't rush ahead. Slow down, especially because we're in Mercury retrograde. You don't want to rush into anything. As you can probably tell from how fast I've been speaking, this is a really high vibrational energy time in astrology in the world. So it's got me spinning. I'm trying to slow down. I'm trying to cool it down. Not rush through everything. Just relax. But I was also really excited to share all of this information with you guys. And I hope that you found it as interesting as I do, because this eclipse season is bomb. And you can really use it to your own benefit if you're aware of what's going on and you're not just like, what's going on with my life? Oh my gosh, everything is terrible. Everything is not terrible. Everything's wonderful. And you just gotta be present and realize what's going on and really focus on slowing down right now and taking some time to meditate, taking some time to be alone. That's another thing too. I forgot to mention there are 4 stars that are in the constellation Capricornus, which represents human affairs. Now, Aquarius, which to go all the way back to our actual sign that the moon is in during this full moon lunar eclipse, Aquarius is the sign of service, the humanitarian sign. And then we also have Capricornus, which is about human affairs. So we have 4 main stars, and that's, and excuse me if I'm saying these horrifically because it's definitely possible, Gidi, Debe, probably totally wrong, Oculus, and Bose. And Gidi and Deba represent sacrifice, offering, aggression, but also patience, trust, decisiveness, criticism. These 2 stars are going to make you want to take some time to be alone because other people's energy might overwhelm you. So take some time to just be alone with yourself and to really appreciate who you are and where you are. And then Oculus and Bose represent conservatism and forward vision. So conserving your energy during this time, slowing down, and thinking about how you can move forward, but not taking any huge active steps to move forward unless your wheels have already been in motion for quite some time. So I think that about covers it. This video is getting a little longer than I intended it to be, but it's a crazy moon, so you know, it is what it is. So I hope you guys enjoy this blessing moon, this blood moon, and I hope you get out and you can possibly see something. I'm not sure if I'm going to be seeing anything because it's really stormy out, as you can probably see. It's very gray outside and rainy. So I hope that you guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope some of you get to see the moon. If you follow me on Instagram or anything, or you want my email, you could send me pictures if you take any. That would be awesome. And I really hope you guys enjoy this moon and you work with it. You take some time to be alone with yourself. You take some time to meditate. You slow down and think before you act and really take other people's emotions into account and just really appreciating your family, your friends, and your loved ones, and yourself too, definitely. And yeah, just get out and enjoy this moon in whatever way you can. Do, a gratitude ceremony. Definitely a good idea to grab a bowl of water and see what you can see inside of it. That sounds really fun, right? And maybe start up a dream journal if that's something you've been wanting to do for a while. Those are all really great things that you can do during this Aquarius total lunar eclipse. It's the longest one of the century, so get out and see it. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. I'm just going to keep growing this channel. The more people that get into it, the more I'll push myself to keep posting these. I haven't missed a new moon or a full moon in a really long time. And I've just kind of jumped into that. The whole astrology thing has really got me floored. But I have a million other, beautiful inspirations in my life because I'm a Gemini. So if you want to see anything else spiritual at all, even anything, I'm even thinking about posting some recommendations for different products that I use in my life. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. And overall, just thank you, and I love you so much, and I just am so grateful for all of you that watch my videos. So much love, guys. Peace out.